Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Terumot. We're up to Perek Chet Mishna Yud. Today's Mishnah should be Nishmat Neria ben Tzvetlana Aranbai ben Eliyahu ben Burcha Israelov Menuchatam beGan Eden. Amen. Today's Mishnah is continuing the theme from yesterday's Mishnah. The Mishnah says, V'chen chavit shel shemen shenishpecha. In a similar case, a barrel of terumah oil spilled on the ground. A person is standing nearby with a tameh container. The Mishnah asks, is going to address the question, if he goes to get a towel container to scoop up the oil, some oil will seep into the ground and be lost by the time he returns. Now, since the oil will be lost in any event, may he collect it with the tameh container and thereby make the oil tameh in order to save it. And the Mepharshim explain, although the oil cannot be eaten if it is tameh, it still has a use, because terumah oil that is tameh can be used to fuel a fire, to fuel a lamp. Therefore, this person wants to save the oil even at the cost of making it tameh, rather than allow it to seep into the ground and be wasted. On the other hand, we know it's forbidden to make terumah tameh, so what to do? So the Mishnah says, Modeh Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua, both Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua agree, She'im yachol la'atzil mimena revi'it b'ta'ora, that if by going to get a towel container, he will be able to save a quarter log of the terumah oil in a state of ta'ara, yatzil, he must get a towel container and save what he can, even though some oil will be lost by the time he returns. The imlav, and even if not, meaning even if by the time he gets a towel container, not even a quarter log will remain. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Rabbi Eliezer says, Tered v'tibala, he should let the oil go down and be absorbed by the ground. Va'al yivale'ena biyadav, but he may not ruin it with his own hands, meaning it literally means he may not absorb it with his own hands, but referring to the ground, meaning he may not directly make it tameh by collecting it with the tameh container. Even though the oil will all be lost, it is forbidden to save it by making tameh. And we're going to see in the next Mishnah that Rabbi Yeshua disagrees with this. And that is in Rabotai Mishnah Yud. Now, in Mishnah Tet and Mishnah Yud, Rabbi Eliezer ruled that a person cannot make terumah tameh with its own hands, even if it will become tameh in any event, or even be lost on its own. This Mishnah Yud Alayev is going to cite the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua about these cases and also repeat Rabbi Yeshua's ruling from Mishnah Chet. Va'al zu va'al zu, concerning this case and that case, meaning the case in Mishnah Chet, Mishnah 8, where terumah might have already become tameh, and in the cases of Mishnah 9 and 10, where terumah was unavoidably going to become tameh or be lost. Amar Rabbi Yeshua says, Lo zuhi terumah shani musar alea miletame'ah. This is not the kind of terumah that I'm forbidden to make tameh, because the prohibition to make terumah tameh applies ela mileochlah, only to terumah that is currently fit to be eaten and will be disqualified from eating if it becomes tameh. And Mepharshim explain, if the terumah cannot be eaten regardless, a person is not forbidden to make it tameh, and therefore where terumah might already be tameh, like in Mishnah Chet, a person may allow it to become tameh, like Rabbi Yeshua ruled in that Mishnah, and where terumah is on the way to certainly becoming tameh or lost, like in Mishnah 9 and Mishnah 10, a person may collect it with the tameh container in order to save what he can. And the Mepharshim explain, this is all as long as he cannot save a quarter log in a state of tara, like the Mishnah specifically said. Now, the Mepharshim explain, although Rabbi Yeshua holds that a person is not forbidden to make such terumah tameh, he does not allow a person to make it tameh directly, unless doing so saves him from a loss. Therefore, in the case of Mishnah number 9, he may catch terumah wine with a tameh container to prevent it from making a vat of chulin wine forbidden. And in the case of Mishnah 10, he may catch terumah oil with a tameh container to prevent it from seeping into the ground, because he saves himself a loss this way, because he can use the oil to fuel a lamp, which is mutar use for terumah oil that's tameh. However, in the case of Mishnah Chet, Mishnah 8, the owner does not save himself a loss by making the terumah tameh, since it cannot be used in any case if you refer back to that Mishnah. Therefore, he cannot make it tameh directly. He has to leave it to become tameh, like we learned over there. And we quoted the opinion of Rabban Gamliel that he's supposed to leave it alone in each case, and that was the halacha. Now, in the following case of the Mishnah, though, Rabbi Yeshua is going to agree that it is forbidden to make terumah tameh, even though it will likely become tameh in any case. And the Mishnah says, "Ubal tetame'ah ketzad." In what case am I forbidden to make terumah tameh? Haya over makom lemakom, someone who was traveling from place to place. V'kikarot shel terumah biyadon, he had loaves of terumah bread in his hands. Amar lo oved kochavim, and an idolater said to him, Ten achat mehen ve'at tame'ah, give me one of the loaves and I will make it tameh. Meaning the idolater is asking for a loaf of bread, and midrabanan, by rabbinic law, any food touched by a goy becomes tameh. So therefore, giving him the loaf will cause it to become tameh. Goy's not literally saying, give it to me and I'll make it tameh. Just practically, it will become tameh. Vimlo, and if you do not give me one loaf, hareni mitamet kula, I will make all the loaves tameh. That's what the goy tells him. Give me one, or I'll make all them tameh. Rabbi Eliezer says, yitamet kula. The Jew should let the idolater make all the loaves tameh, but the Jew may not give the idolater even one of the loaves to become tameh, because although if the Jew does nothing, all the loaves will become tameh, the Jew may not perform any action that will cause terumah to become tameh, according to Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yeshua says, Yaniach lefanav achat mehen ala sela. The Jew should put one loaf on a rock in front of the idolater and let him take it on his own. The Jew, Rabbi Yeshua agrees, the Jew may not hand it directly to the idolater, and he may not let the idolater make all the loaves tameh. So in this situation, a person is forbidden to cause terumah to become tameh, and therefore he must do all he can to save the terumah. And therefore, Rabbi Yeshua says you would put one loaf on the rock and that's it, right? In this case, Mefarshim explain, Rabbi Yeshua agrees that one may not make the terumah tameh, because here, unlike in the previous Mishnayot, it's not certain that the terumah will not be able to be eaten, because even though the goy, the idolater, threatened to make it tameh, he might change his mind and not do anything. So since it's possible that the terumah will be fit to be eaten, the requirement to protect it from becoming tameh applies. Rabbi Yeshua he disagrees with Rabbi Eliezer about how you protect it. Rabbi Eliezer says you cannot do anything that will cause it to become tameh. Rabbi Yeshua says a person cannot hand over the loaf directly, but he can allow the idolater to take one loaf in order to save the rest. And the Rav tells us in the previous Rav of the Mishnah, in the beginning of this Mishnah, the halacha follows the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua that you would put one loaf on the rock in front of the idolater and let him take it on his own to prevent the other loaves from becoming tameh. That is in Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.